You know, if I would just listen to the people that have more experience than I do, I wouldn't have spent hours putting this tank in like this, and now then having to change it to this. Cue that intro. Last week I got my sturgeons. I got a diamondback sturgeon, 2 diamondback sturgeons, and 1 sterlet sturgeon. I put them in my 180-gallon tank within my office because I wanted to spend a lot of time with them. I think they're absolutely fantastic. As you guys know, the first time I was ever introduced into sturgeons was at the Aquatic Experience 2018. I've been in contact with Shelby Bush from Seacrest Farms. She and I have been talking back and forth about where I can purchase these guys from. And lo and behold, my buddy Mark Denaro got some in his store, called me up, and I immediately went over there to pick them up. Link above of my travels to Mark Denaro's shop, Natural Pets Plus, so you can see what happened last week. So I brought the sturgeons back, put them in a quarantine tank, let them sit in there for about 3 or 4 days, made sure they were good, made sure they were eating, and then I introduced them into my 180-gallon tank. I aquascaped it because I absolutely love these guys, and I wanted to have a nice looking, you know, biotope for my sturgeons to swim in. Took pictures and videos of my tank, and I sent it to Mark that day. And his response was, you know these guys aren't cichlids. And I was like, yeah. He said, well, I don't know if all that aquascaping is the best for you. And I was like, why? I just wanted to show off my fish in a really cool environment. And he says, well, with the sturgeons, when you feed them, a lot of the food that they don't get is going to get into the rocks and start to become rotten. And I was like, really? I didn't really believe him at first because I figured, like most of the cichlids I've been keeping for years, that they would be able to pick through the rocks and get their any food that was left over out. Not with sturgeons. Sturgeons are not built to go through the rocks with their snout and everything. They can't get into those areas. Their mouth is kind of a little further back underneath them, and they're just not able to get through these cracks in the rocks to get this uneaten food. Now Mark did suggest that I put some sort of catfish in here, which I did. I have a little shovel nose, I think it's called a Lima shovel nose. It's not the full large shovel nose, but it will get up to about 2 or 3 feet long in here as well. He is eating some of the leftover food, but I'm starting to see some stuff within the rocks, just like Mark tried to tell me, that's going sour or spoiling. So now, if I had just listened to Mark, I didn't, but if I had listened to him, none of this would have happened. But now, I got to get in here and pull all these rocks out because I don't want anything bad to happen to these incredible fish. Now, as you know, if the uneaten food stays in there, it's going to spoil, my ammonia is going to rise, and it's going to be deadly to the fish. So at this point, I got to pull all the rock work out, get rid of it. I might leave 1 rock in there, 1 big rock, and I got to vacuum this tank out and get all of the uneaten food out, refill it up with water, and hopefully they'll be good to go from there. So, a couple of points before we get started. These fish need cold water. This tank has not gotten any higher than 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I try to keep it within the 65 to 60 degree mark. I'm doing 2 to 3 water changes a week depending on when I can get in here, if I'm not too busy at work or dealing with other stuff. We are trying to get a home, so I have a lot going on at this particular point, and I'm in charge of the Aquatic Experience Cichlid Show that's happening in October. So there's a lot going on, I got my hands in, so I am very busy at this point, but as many times as I can, I try to do a good water change. These guys really appreciate it. So it's important that you keep the temperature under 70 degrees and you keep a lot of air. So if you can see, I have like 5 sponge filters in here, and then I have 2 power heads over top of the bubblers like misting the bubble so it's even more oxygen being generated in the tank. Again, these guys are doing really, really well, but that's important. Low temperature, lots of oxygen in the tank, and then these guys, you need to feed them 2 or 3 times a day. They do not eat a large amount of food, so you kind of have to, I give them like 20 little pellets every time I feed them. I let them eat it up, and then I won't feed them again until I come back from work. But you have to feed them on a regular basis. With that said, it is time to get all this rock work out. I'm going to see if Liz will give me a hand and basically get this to be just a bare tank. So, so let's go. Let's get these rocks moved out of here. Let's get this tank set up to where these guys are going to remain happy. And let's siphon out any uneaten food, and let's get some fresh water in here. You guys ready? Let's go!
You know, if you just listen to Mark, you wouldn't have to do this.
I know that. That's why I'm doing a video about this, okay?
Okay.
I don't always listen to people. You should know that better than anybody. Alright, so I need to get rid of all this rock work. So I'm going to hand this to you. Oh my God, that water's cold. You can just put it on there. We'll give these guys more room, that's for sure. This guy's gonna be. Got it?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to siphon half this water out.
Yeah, I see the crud as you're pulling it out.
I thought these fish would enjoy the rock, you know, the aquascape, but
I don't think fish have the same enjoyment for aquascaping as we do.
I know, but again, not knowing that because of their snout the way it is, they can't really get in between these rocks and pick food out.
Right.
They have to kind of come like an airplane landing.
Yeah,
almost.
when I was watching them eating, the mouth is down here. It's not up here.
So I'm sure that they will be happy that there's more room. That's a heavy one. I mean, I think some of these smaller ones I should be able to leave in here.
I would think so.
So I need, if you get the hose, I'm going to get the siphon.
Okay.
Alright guys, we are back, and this is how my tank currently looks. Much cleaner, much more space for the fish, and very little chance that there's going to be any uneaten food that's going to spoil and cause my ammonia to go up. Lesson 1 of the day is, if you have a more experienced hobbyist giving you advice, listen to it and take it. I could have saved myself a lot of work, and Liz too, had I just listened to what Mark had to say when I purchased these sturgeons from him 2 weeks ago. But I didn't. You learn, you move on, but I'm trying to pass on a lesson to you. Make sure you listen to a good advice from more experienced hobbyists. Number 2, never jeopardize the health or the conditions for your fish because you want it to look a certain way for you. fish should always be number one. Providing the best care, the best environment is your responsibility. So make sure you put the fish first, and any wants and needs you have as a hobbyist second. I've learned my lesson. I've provided these guys the best environment I can currently, and as they grow, I'll be getting bigger tanks and making sure that I'm doing everything I can to provide them a happy and long life. Alright guys, so that's it for my video. 2 things. Always remember what more advanced hobbyists have to say to you. And number 2, make sure that you are putting the fish first, providing them with the best possible health, care, and conditions that you can. And anything that you want from the fish should be secondary. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. I hope you leave me a like button, the thumbs up button, and I hope you guys will come back next week for another video. Also remember that Liz and I will be going on live Sunday at 8 o'clock. Not sure what the topic's going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope to see you guys Sunday at 8 o'clock. And as always, keep your hands wet and enjoy this hobby for all it's worth. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.